Hey y'all, welcome back to From Service to Self, another episode, and we have Denise Purtle on the show. Look, I am so excited, Denise, for you to be on here, girl. Like, thank you for showing up and sharing your story with us. And I'm going to dive right in, okay? Very first question, Denise. What branch of service did you serve and how many years?
So I served in the United States Navy for 24 years.
Hoorah, Navy represent. Y'all, let me tell you first and foremost before I even get started. Denise, I was on a ship with her. We commissioned together the DDG 89 USS Mustang. Y'all,
Yeah.
Denise was the most inspirational person to my life and career. And I just want to say this before we kind of get started because I don't know, I just have to say it. When we were on the ship, I actually had, kind of gotten myself into a little bit of trouble. And honest to God, Denise was like my ship big sister, always looking out for me, always giving me words of encouragement, wisdom, and just trying to guide me down the right path. But I watched her make first class on the ship. I watched you make
Mhm.
first class on the ship.
Mhm.
And I didn't make it because I had gotten myself into trouble, where Denise was trying to stop me from doing that, trying to stop me. And I made the decision and didn't get in trouble and had to watch her progress and move forward and promote right before my
Mhm.
eyes when I knew it could have been me as well. And she
Mhm.
had gave me some words one day that totally changed kind of how I began to move because she's like, you have to recognize that I'm hindering and hurting my own self, right? And I don't remember the exact words that you used, but honest to God, it was like a moment of like reflection that changed kind
Mhm.
of how I moved from that point. Cause I'm like, I don't want to ruin my own career. I don't want to,
Right.
people see so much in me. And I think Denise saw so much in me,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
could do and what I could be. And just your words alone kind of made me snap back and assess myself and really kind of say, all right, I don't want to ruin this for myself. I don't want to screw things up. I want to progress. I want to promote. I want to move forward. I want to be somebody in this service. Right. So
Mhm.
because of your words, man, I literally was like, all right, let me get it together, Sparkle. Like,
Yeah.
check. No more badass attitude. No more just being whatever. Like, get it
Right. Right.
together and focus and handle your business. And I so appreciate that. So I wanted to say that first and foremost. I so appreciate you because the seeds, the wisdom, just all that you dropped into my life and into my spirit on the ship to become a better version of myself. It was what made me turn the corner. It was what made me do the right thing. So I totally appreciate that.
Well, I'm so happy that I was able to do that for you. And I don't know if you remember, but we when we first met and we got together, me and you and Sharika, because remember we were the only black girls,
Yeah, facts.
and, and we made a pact that we were gonna excel.
Mm,
So in my mind, we got a plan and
yeah.
we got to stick to our plan. That's how I viewed the Navy when I joined. I joined with a plan,
Wow.
and you had a plan somewhat. And so we had all said we were going to make officers and we were going to just go up that ladder together.
Oh,
So kind of when you kind of derailed, I was like,
yeah.
no, you got to get back on this track because we got a
Yeah.
plan and we got to get there. So that was where I was at with it. We had planned to make it up the ranks together. That was what it was for me. That's how I saw it. And so that's why I was like, no, I'm going to help you
Crazy.
stay this way because we going
That's
up.
crazy. And
There's no
honestly, I
no
did
option.
not remember that. Honest to God, I did not remember that. My
Yeah.
memory do not be serving me well, but I will
Yeah.
say when you kind of you were on that track, on that path, handling business, and you was doing your thing on the ship. And honestly, I feel like it was a moment where I was getting into trouble, and Denise was like, nah, I ain't about that. I'm gonna have to leave you behind. Like in facts. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what we kind of like separated and doing it. And you was
Mhm.
doing your thing, and you like, Sparkle, get it together, or like I'm rocking and rolling without you. And I remember that. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what you did. Like you went
Mhm.
on, and I'm watching her. I'm like, let me get my shit together. Like for real,
Mhm.
because she
Yeah.
making it and doing. And that is what I did not want to lose you as a friend. I didn't want to let you down. I didn't want you to yeah, continue down the path and I'm being left behind. I didn't want that. But I just want to say thank you so much because honest to goodness, watching you, listening to you, it totally made me turn that corner. And that was a good thing. And I didn't even remember that, but we was on the path. And look, you did your thing, made it, officer, salute, look, retired, all that. So
I'm
that
done.
is a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
look, man. That is a
Yeah.
good look. So I'm so grateful for the time, the moments, all of that. Okay, so look, I don't want to belabor that point, but I just had to
Okay.
say that. So let me get to the question. The first question is what inspired you to join the Navy, and what do you remember most about your time in service?
So what inspired me to join the Navy is I was 26 trying to figure out life. I had gone to college, that wasn't working. I went to college, Paul, they didn't do anything.
Mm,
Got a job on a job that wasn't fulfilling, nor were they encouraging or trying to promote me. And I said, Lord, I know you have more in store for me in my life. This is not it. And I just kind of pondered on that for a minute, and I talked to my uncle, who was a naval recruiter at the time, but he was an officer recruiter.
mm,
And I just asked him, I said, I knew that I wanted a job that I can travel and can finish my education. So the military came to my mind. And I talked to him about it. So he said, okay, I'm going to break down for you the branches. He said, but the Army and the Marines is out of the question. That's not even an option. So
okay.
then he said, you have the Air Force and the Navy. He said, now the difference between the Air Force and the Navy promotes faster. So I was like, okay. And he was like, and if you can get a security clearance, then you can get a decent job. So I was like, I think I can. I think my credit was okay. And so I went on and did that. I went to MEPS and I took the test. And the guy was like, listen, go buy the ASVAB for dummies and then come back in like 30 days. Because mind you, at this point, I'm out of high school almost 10 years.
Mm,
So I'm behind the average person, right? Taking the ASVAB. And so by the time I go take the ASVAB again, I blow it out the water and I get my pick of jobs. And that's how I did it. But that was my goal to join, to do a job that I could feel proud of, fulfilled with, and successful. Because
mm,
that's always been at the back of my mind is wanting to be a success. And I feel like that's what I did. I feel
yeah,
like success is what you define it to be. It's no number, no letter, no. It's what you feel fulfilled in your life, in your profession
yeah.
is what deems you successful. That's how I feel. And so for me, what I remember most about the Navy is the people that I meet, the paths that I cross,
Mm,
you know, and to be able to forge like this friendship, because even though we haven't talked in years,
yeah,
we still see each other on Facebook. We tell each other happy birthday. We still engage, right?
yeah.
And so that's what I love about what the military did do for me. It brought me in contact with people who I would have never met and in different walks of life. Like I got to go to countries and places that people paid a vacation to. My job took me there. I
Yeah.
lived in Italy for 3 years. People are just blown when I tell them that. Yeah,
Right.
I lived there for 3 years, and to have the opportunities that we get now, like even with you, even though you didn't stay in the Navy, it opened the doors for you to do other things. And now look at you all around the world. You've lived in countries, not in the Navy,
Yeah.
living in countries, you know what I'm saying? But because you had that foundation there, it opened that door for you. And so that's what I appreciate about the service is that the foundation that it laid for me, even though I was older. And that's why I was so much focused
Mm,
than you guys. I had 10 years on you, right? So yeah, at 27 joining the Navy, I'm not trying to figure it out. I
yeah.
got to make this work because
Right.
I can't start another career. This is it for me.
Gotcha.
So that's why I had to move the way I moved because I didn't have any more options. I was out of options. So that's why I did it the way that I did it. But yeah.
That's amazing. Honest to goodness, that is amazing. And you make a very good point because I was talking to Tisa recently and she was saying the same thing. She's a Navy veteran as well. Was like she didn't have a plan when she came in, didn't have a strategy, didn't know how to use the Navy to make it beneficial for her, right? To
Mhm.
create a plan for herself while she was in and allow that to push her where she needed to go and then get out and have her life or whatever. It's important to have that plan and have that strategy because like you said, me, I felt like maybe I started with one, but it did not necessarily, I fell off track. And so
Yeah.
don't when you focus on something, it's not easy for you to fall off track. And I feel like
Mhm.
you didn't have no room to do that. Like you said, you came in,
No.
had your business, and you was like, yeah, this is it. Right. So that is so good. That is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so question number two. What has been the most challenging part of transitioning to civilian life? And what helped you the most in that?
So the most challenging is being a civilian. You
Mm.
know, they strip you of your civilian ways when you go into boot camp, right? And so now you do this thing for 20 plus years,
Yeah.
and now you go from on the ground decks, just going to a
Yeah.
screeching halt. And it's like, what do I do now? What I'm used to, I knew every day when I woke up, I'm going to do, I have this meeting, I have this, I have that, I have that. And then you wake up one day and all of that is over.
Yeah.
And like, while I had that plan while in the Navy, I didn't have a plan for when I retired.
I see.
I thought I thought I was gonna just transition into civilian life as easy as I transitioned into military life. I thought, oh, okay, I'm in a retired lieutenant commander with a cybersecurity master's degree. I'm just gonna go walk into a job.
Yeah.
Lies. That don't work like that.
Right.
And so what happened was, you realize that I hadn't been technical. Now you remember, we was hot. We had
Hot,
the
hot
hottest ship.
ownership.
We had the
Girl, hot.
hottest ship. We was They were bringing people to come learn from us. We
Exactly.
had the hottest
Exactly.
radio going, and so and that's what helped me get to that lieutenant commander status. But once you get up there, you are no longer technical, you are managerial, right? You are leading people, guiding and making decisions. So now that I retired, these jobs want technical people.
Mm.
Well, I'm like, listen, I ain't been technical in many years,
Yeah.
but I understand it, but I haven't been the one putting my fingers on the keyboards doing this stuff. I had. And so realizing, okay, you're not ready to stay at home. This is not the job. You got to find a job. What are you going to do? What does that look like for you? And so I applied for a couple of jobs and they just weren't reading my resume. And then I finally got with Booz Allen. That's who I work for right now. And
Okay.
I applied for this technical job. And the guy called me, the department head of that job. He said, listen, I told my department, she's not going to do this job. What let me know is that he read my resume. He was the first person that actually read my resume.
Mm.
And he said, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend you to a management side and see what they have. And sure enough, they called me the very next day. I'm thinking it's a second interview for that other job. No, they're asking me to do a whole nother job.
I see.
And so that's what I do now. But it was the most relaxing and like old friends catching up kind of interview for me. And they understood that I have not been technical, but I understand the world,
Yeah.
the IT world and the military world, and that I can speak to higher ups and engage with people on different levels. And that's what got me the job that I have. So the transition from military to civilian was definitely a struggle. And then even once you start doing that civilian job, it feels like you're moving too slow still.
Yep. I
You
know
know,
what you
you're
mean.
like, what? It's no sense of urgency for nothing on the
Fact.
civilian side. And I'm like, I still have a mindset like we got service members downrange that need these answers. If it's 4:30 on a Friday, then you gonna wait till Monday. They're not finna answer you. They're not telling you nothing. And I'm like, you got people waiting for answers, and you just say, oh yeah, we'll get to it. Fighting over decisions that the sailor is out there needing.
Yeah.
And that's what really drives me crazy on the civilian side. It's like and it's crazy because a lot of people who make these decisions, they've never been there.
Yep.
So they don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I've been that sailor on the ship needing an answer from a government person, a tech support, and they ain't giving it to me, and I'm still trying to figure it out. You can't do that, but that's how a government works, and
Yeah.
that's the downside of it. But yeah, I could tell anybody, and I tell people that you go to tap class, but it does not prepare you for that real feeling of what am I going to do today?
Yeah.
That waking up and empty feeling of this is it. I
Mm.
did 24 years to be here.
Yeah.
So just like I had that plan to come in the Navy, you definitely need the plan for what are you going to do when you get out? You
Yeah.
got to have that. You can't just think you're going to wake up and walk into something. That doesn't happen. Now, dependent though, because like I said, my husband was engineering. He did.
Mm,
He did 30 years and he walked right into a civilian job. But their community is so locked
yeah.
in that the guy called him, he's like, listen, you retiring? I'm about this, I'm getting this other position. You want this job? Here, this people you talk to, blah, blah, blah. Boom. He walked right in that job.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then when it came time for me, so I'm looking at him do that. He retired 5 years
Right.
before me. So I'm thinking, okay, he retired. He was that easy in my mind. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna be that easy for me. No, because the IT world doesn't work like that. You gotta have certifications, you gotta have connections, you got to have the skill set. And they
Yep.
want to see that you've still been doing XYZ. And so you have to know. And then the other thing for me was because I had been a department head, I didn't want a job with that level of responsibility anymore. And I think people get that mixed up too. People think because you retire at a certain rank, when you retire and you go into your next job, you want that same level of responsibility or that position. I
Yeah.
don't want that because what comes with that position is responsibility.
Yep.
I don't want to be responsible for other people's children anymore. I've done that for a long time. Now I just want to have to worry about me. Go to work and do my job, answer for me, and then I go home and I'm not getting called because this person didn't show up or they didn't turn in this or what. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to do that. And so I'm so fortunate that that's the job I have. I don't need the O4 equivalent job or the commander or the GS 15, 13. I don't need that.
Got
I
you.
don't need that because I've had a career.
Yep.
This is not a career for me. This is something for me to do until I'm officially ready to be done. I'm
Yeah.
just not ready to be done yet. So I'm doing this to have something to do
Yeah.
and be giving back to the military also because that was what I wanted to do as well. Give back to the sailors after I left. And so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
You made actually a couple good points there, really good. So I hear this quite often from from retirees that have served, 20, 30 years and stuff. And they say,
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jessica was saying the same thing to me, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get out, Spark. And I'm just like, well, what you mean? I have been out for so long at that point. I'm like, what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Get out here, get a job. And she's like, no, after so many years, it's kind of like you step out and you don't know which way to look, which way to go.
Exactly.
Like you just kind of like, what next? Because they've been conditioned so long in this one role, this one job,
Yes.
this one way of doing business when it comes to the military. Like, so the
Yeah.
transition is, I've heard difficult, same kind of what you're saying, difficult to be able to get out. And the mindset is different. The hustle is different. Just
Mm-hmm.
everything about the civilian world is different. You ain't out here barking orders because you ain't
Nope.
command, blah, blah,
You
blah.
ain't that no more.
Like,
That's right. You don't care.
exactly. That's crazy. But then you also made I remember another point about when we was on a ship, man, we was when I tell you, radio, you could not tell me nothing about radio. That's why I was
Mm-mm.
how that's the reason why I was the way I was, because I had a bad ass attitude. Like I couldn't nobody touch me. I feel like, look, I know what I'm doing when it comes to this radio.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
because of that, like it was so fun and I was passionate about doing that job because I
Mm-hmm.
just knew it came
Mm-hmm.
natural. We just worked together
Mm-hmm.
so well. It was such a
Yep.
good vibe and
It
flow,
was.
such a
It
good
was.
community. So
Yes.
that's a good point that you also brought up, is that you have to maintain or build and continue to, rebuild these connections as you move through your journey in the military, because that is
Yep.
what is going to help you transition to whatever is next for you. Like you say, your
Yes.
husband, his
Yep.
community, they call him like, look, I got this job for you, man. You getting out
Yep.
tomorrow, you can start working. Like
Yep.
it just
Exactly.
happens like that, especially
Yep.
when people and you got those connections that you've made sometimes even before you even get out the military. People,
Yeah.
some retirees have basically they've been working alongside their civilian counterparts, and then they know the civilian counterparts know that they're retiring, and they'd be like, oh, I could create a job for you so that when the day you retire,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow you come here to work, type of thing.
Yep. Yep.
So it is very important, like you said, to build those networks and to
Yep.
just have a plan, period.
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. Very good.
Yes.
Okay, so question 3. How has your identity changed since leaving the military, personally or professionally?
Well, Like you said, I'm no longer the lieutenant commander anymore. I'm no longer leading that department.
Mm,
So to go from being the person that can walk into a room and speak to a person on any level, and now I'm in a job, I'm a contractor. So I don't get to really talk to government leaders like I would when I was a lieutenant commander. I could walk in the room and talk to a captain or a commander and say, "No, sir, that's not right," or whatever. Now I have to go through
I see.
a government person to speak to a person above me. And so that's the struggle. But I feel like I've changed in a way that I don't allow or take things personal.
Mm,
I think that's what I gained while also in the Navy is that when you're dealing with people and leaders specifically, sometimes we tend to take it personally because they have an expectation. But being a person that was able to be a department head, you learn that you have a job, right? And your superiors expect something from you, not the person, but the job. And
mm,
so it's not that I have an issue with you, the person. It's that I need this job done, and you're the person that's supposed to get the job done. So I have an expectation that you're going to get that job done. That's the thing. So recognizing that people are not necessarily having an issue with you, the person. It's the job that they need answers for. And either you're too slow or you don't know the answer.
yeah.
And say you don't know the answer. Don't try to wing it or pretend like you know something that you don't. Just be honest and say, well, I really don't know. I'll figure it out or I'll find somebody who does.
Mm,
So recognizing that, don't take it personal. Don't wear your feelings on your sleeve. Just understand that it is a job. And I used to have to tell those junior officers that all the time. They'd be like, oh, the CSO don't like me. I say, he doesn't know you. He
mm.
doesn't know you to not like you. But you're here to do a job. And he expects you to do the job. So you have to do that. And so that's what I think I have, where I've changed, where I try not to take everything so personal anymore. I don't allow people to project their feelings on me. Now I'm always open to constructive criticism because I feel like we're all learning every day. Nobody knows everything.
Yeah.
But I don't take it personal to the place where I feel like, oh, I'm just gonna go sit in a corner somewhere because this person doesn't like me. No, because I don't see it as that. If I've never done you anything personally,
Mm.
then I don't feel like your direction to me is on a personal level. It's a professional level. So okay, I got it. Thank you. And I'll go do whatever it is I need to do, and that's it.
Wow, that's a very interesting perspective, honestly.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting because a lot of people don't see it that way. Not at all.
Mhm.
Because people think, and I wouldn't even think to say that, oh, it's personal or whatever, because sometimes I be thinking it is personal because even when you get the job done, folks still don't like you. You getting the job done. So it's like, what? I can understand your point, but it's kind of like I'm a little torn. But that is a
Yeah.
very interesting perspective to take on it, period. Because once you take that perspective, you really don't get moved by any.
Right.
And so honestly, that is what keeps you solid in your person, your character, the job, the role, whatever it is. And I can appreciate that. I really
Yeah.
can. So thank you for that. It's a really good perspective. Okay, I learned something today myself. Look, I received that because I'll be the
Yeah,
first
because
to be like, look, she got a problem with me or he got a problem with me because I know when I'm doing my job and I know it's whatever. And you still got something, you still acting funny or still treating me some kind of way, like it's like, whoa, but if you have that perspective, you're right. You won't ever have that feeling.
Because guess what? If you've never been in that person's shoes, see, being the department head put me in a whole different perspective. It
I
it
see.
put me in spaces that I hadn't been privy to before. And
Got
so when I'm sitting in that room with that Commodore and hearing how he tearing that other department up because they ain't do XYZ, or there's an expectation for you. So now you have to, now that trickles down.
got you.
And because you're not in that space, you're not privy to that, right? You just hear what that person is telling you. You don't know what came from the top.
Got you.
You're only seeing that person and what they're giving. And so yeah, they're gonna come back at you because they know what their boss is
Yeah.
saying to them. And so that's what happens when you're not privy to that level. you can't have an appreciation for it. So
Got you.
yeah.
No, very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, question four. What role does style, self-care, or self-expression play in your life today?
Oh man, self-care is everything now.
Mm,
Self-care. I feel like once I joined the Navy, I lost um my style, my desire to feel treated, like getting massages, getting my nails done, because we couldn't wear nails like talking about. We could, you go on leave and you go run get your nails done. Then when you're coming back, you got to go hurry up and get them, take them off and all that because we had so many restrictions. And now they've opened up a lot now, but um, like now my hair color, I don't know if you can see it.
it's like a
It's
little
like a
burgundy.
burgundy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I couldn't have wore this in the Navy. That wouldn't happen. And so I feel like I'm getting me back.
Yeah.
I'm finally getting back to the girl I was before I joined the Navy, as far as how I carry myself, my hair done, my nails done, you know, getting that me time at the salon, just relaxing, getting my massages or some retail therapy, whichever it is. um, yeah, I feel like I lost that when I joined the Navy. And so now I'm kind of slowly coming back to me. Because
Gotcha.
even when I was in the Navy, I got my hair done, but I wore my hair so long, it didn't even matter because I had to put it up. I couldn't wear it down.
Yeah.
And yeah, now, mm-mm, the hair's going to be done. The hair's going to be done.
Right.
Got my standing appointment for my nails and my feet. Those things are just non-negotiable. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. That's
Yeah.
what's up, man. Yeah, we got to step out, honey. Looking cute, looking
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're right. We
Yeah.
talked about this in previous episodes. I say we had that conversation about there was so many, like you said, standards and restrictions and all that in the Navy. Wouldn't you couldn't wear certain nail color, hair color. The nails couldn't be as long. Now you
Yeah.
see the girls, they rocking them 10 inches past the tip and all that.
Yeah.
Like all kinds
Yeah. They,
of
they
stuff.
wearing diamond earrings and
Yeah.
ponytails, and I'm
Ponytail.
just like, what are we doing
Exactly.
here? Yeah. I was like,
Exactly.
okay.
Girl, it was
Yeah.
very different. So I can definitely appreciate now getting out and then reclaiming yourself, reclaiming,
Yeah.
your feminine essence, your own
Yeah.
vibe, your own, yeah. So I love that. I absolutely love
Yeah.
it. Good for
And
you.
putting clothes on every day to go to work.
Yeah.
That was a challenge too. Going from wearing a uniform to wearing clothes. I'm just like, I gotta go shopping because the clothes I have, they're not to wear to a job,
Yeah.
right? They're like
Yeah.
club clothes. And I'm just like, okay. But now, child, going there, and then my shoes, because that was the other thing. What shoes I'm wearing? I'm used to wearing boots, and then, but what's really funny to me though, I had this mindset that okay, I'm business dress. Well,
Mhm.
that has changed
Yeah. Yeah.
from when I was a civilian. They're wearing tennis shoes and stuff, and I'm just like, well, what is this? What
Yeah.
is I don't
It's
know this
chill.
attire. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so that is real relaxing. So that now I'm finally getting into that mode of okay, that's why we wearing. It don't matter. You think you're gonna meet your program manager, so you think you need to dress. I'm looking at how they dress, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. Got it. I got
Right.
it.
Exactly. You
I'm
ain't
gonna
gotta be
be
suited up, none of that.
no, that
Mhm.
and but that's the difference of the mindset. When you think, oh, I'm gonna see a superior, so I need to be suited and booted, and then you walk into a meeting and they're just sitting there looking like yesterday, and I'm saying, wait a minute, why am I old? And they looking
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
But with that though, you still don't lose you
Yeah.
in that. Don't because some people just never had it, so they gonna look the way they look. So I'll scale down a little bit, but I'll never go to
Yeah.
where you have to say, "Girl, what is going on? What's the matter? Are you okay? Yeah, you're not looking like yourself. Yeah, no,
Right.
I'm not gonna. Not gonna
Right. We ain't doing that. We ain't
we
doing
ain't
it.
doing that.
We
No.
know how to put it on. We know how to put it on.
Yes, exactly. We're gonna put it on. Gonna put it on. Yeah.
Oh, no, that is good. Okay, so final question. If you could give your younger military self one piece of advice, what would it be?
What I would tell my younger self is save more.
Hmm.
Save more. Save more. You don't know. how many people try to encourage me about saving a certain amount of money
Mm.
at my younger age. And I think when you're young, you think you have time. Oh, I got time. I'm gonna do it. I ain't old yet. I'm gonna do it. And then life start lifing, right? And then you find yourself in situations. And in my first marriage, he was my second marriage. He was the same guy, but I married him twice. In that second marriage, while I was in the Navy, we had accumulated debt, and not realizing it would fall on me to
Mm.
have to clear that debt up, because I needed my security clearance to keep my job.
Yeah.
So I got to do what I got to do to make sure that I keep that straight. And so having to do that prevented me from being able to possibly save at the level I should have been saving. I caught up some, but not as much as I should have. And already, like I say, I was 10 years behind the average when I joined. So I'm a little bit older. I should have been doing a little bit more. So I would say saving is what I would do first, which is what I try to tell my niece and nephew and any young person that I come across, and even my husband and I. That's our biggest thing to young people. Like, start paying yourself now,
Yep. Facts.
so that when you get to this age, you're not trying to play the catch up game.
Yeah.
That you're already investing in you.
Yep.
So yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's a gem. That's definitely a gem. I was just talking to Crystal Pena. She was the last interview. And if you guys have not watched that, go catch up. She made that same statement about how she even used to tell her young sailors, her recruits, because she was a recruiter. She said, I
Mm,
would lie to them and say, look, five is that's the minimum you can put into your TSP when they would come in, when they would sign the paper for, she said 5%, you got to. Like that's it. 5% you
mhm.
gotta put it in. Well, normally it's 3%, I think. And so she said,
Right,
because of the whole goal is that you never know when you're gonna need to have funds and your TSP
right.
here. And like, but the fact that you paying yourself first and saving is just,
Mhm.
if you don't think about it or don't see it, you don't need it, you ain't gonna spend it. Like, it's just,
Right.
that's the thing to do, And so that was a good gem, honestly, because folks, these young people nowadays, they just blow dough anyway. They just
Yep.
spend. So put a little something away that can save your future and save your whatever. So that's a good point to make. Honest to goodness.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And it was such a blessing that um because of the way the situation was going with my ex, and then when I met my husband, he's he's really good with saving
Yeah.
money. And so I asked him, like, to your how did you get your funds up? Right. And so he just helped put me on a plan.
Yeah. Girl, look at
And
God, honey. That's a man.
I had
That's a
nobody to
you
do
right
that.
there, girl. Yeah, he would keep her. Keep her. Keep her.
He put me on a plan, and when I tell you I paid them, he said, listen, don't worry about what he not doing.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do, and it's gonna be greater later. And I tell you no lie, I was in Italy for 3 years. When I walked out of Italy, I was through, paid off everything with him, and I was stacking chips.
That's what's up, man. That is
Yeah,
definitely what's
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that definitely is the thing. And listen to advice of people that are doing it. It's hard. Don't listen to somebody who don't have two nickels to rub together. But if that person have some money put up, they
Yeah.
know something.
Yeah.
Listen to what they're saying, because they definitely know something.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
what's up. That is definitely what's up. Denise, I appreciate you so much just coming through, sharing your story, like dropping gems. I tell everybody that's been on so far, like we talk about like what you're doing. So tell me what you're doing now in your civilian life. If there's anything we can do to support you, how we can show up for you, if any way, like we would love to do so. Yeah, tell us what you got going on and just we want to share, in love and light and lift you up. So
So right now I am, like I said, I'm a government contractor. I support a program manager that deals with computer network defense, still supporting the Navy,
okay.
which is something that I wanted to do. And then on my side, on my community service side, I volunteer with the USO at the airport here in San Diego, and that is so big.
Yeah.
to give back in that sense. I come across military members and to be able to help them navigate, because some of them it's their first time traveling, they've never traveled alone, they're coming from boot camp, and to be able to help ease their mind and give them some guidance is such a great feeling. And that's always something I wanted to do, is to give back. I know why I joined the military, and I appreciate what the military did for me. And so when it came time for me to leave, I didn't want to just disconnect and not do anything. I
Yeah.
wanted to still find a way to give back. And so that's how I do it. And I appreciate that. So, what I would ask you guys to do is support your local, whatever that is helping the military, or the veterans, or members who've served, anything that is going on when it comes to those things. Please support that, because I don't think it's enough support that is given. I don't think enough people understand the sacrifices
Mm.
that are made, and that PTSD comes in all forms, and it's not just from serving downrange. Post traumatic syndrome means there's a traumatic something that you've encountered. We don't know what it is until you have a break, till something happens. Then you realize it triggered something from that trauma that you probably tried to bury. And so those things are real. And so we have to give people sometimes some grace, because we don't understand what that is. And but we have our own struggles that we try to overcome also. So supporting your local agency that gives back to military family members, veterans, that's huge. And that's what I would ask. Yeah.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Call to action, y'all. Support your local USOs or your local, veteran communities or whatever.
Yeah.
However, like seriously,
Yes.
that's what's up, man. I totally
Yes.
appreciate you, Denise. Like I said, I appreciate you for being a sound, a sound sister in my life, like somebody that gave me sound advice, sound wisdom, who held me down, who lifted me up, all of that. I totally appreciate you. And yeah, I thank you for your service. I salute you, honey, for just doing major things, just being a light for us to show, for us to just follow and just, yeah, I totally appreciate you. I really do. Thank you for sharing your story, journey, gems, all of that. And if you guys have not been watching, or go get caught up, the episodes drop on Friday, so go check them out. And until next time, we love you, Denise. Thank you so much for all that you've done, your service and support. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you. And it was my pleasure. Bye bye.